Hi, this is Wayne with Bassador Woodworking, and it's very cold again in the shop because it turns out that propane heaters go through a lot of propane, and I don't have the right connections to hook it up to my house yet. So I went through an entire 20-gallon tank, and now it's cold. So I have all the electric heaters running, but we're still going to try to get some stuff done. I'll just have to turn heaters off in between cuts and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to make a bandsaw box. I have a little bit of scrap cherry here, and I also have the base to what used to be a leg vise. I don't know what wood this is, but it's reasonably hard. So I'm going to use these two things and try to make a bandsaw box. I've never made one before, so we'll just see how it goes. All my pieces are now the same size. I'm gonna now glue them all together in a stack like this so that I have the same on the front and the back. I did some sanding off camera, so these should be all set to go. I just need to slather them in glue, clamp them together, and then let them sit and dry. I'm gonna put a heater right on these because it is still very, very cold in here. So I just need to make sure that the glue sets properly before I start cutting it on the bandsaw. The worst thing that could happen is something shifts and then the whole bandsaw box is off. So we're gonna give it plenty of time to dry. I have other projects that I can work on while this is drying, so let's go to it. Okay, so now we just need to give this plenty of time to dry, at least a few hours. That way I can make absolutely sure that the glue all the way on the inside is set. So yeah, it'll only be a few seconds for you. I gave this about a day to dry. It's about as cured as it's ever going to be. It's very cold in the wood shop again. I went out and got another tank of propane and had the heater running for about 40 minutes while I just prepped everything today. And it remains very cold in here. But we're gonna just work through it and see what comes out of this bandsaw box. As a point of reference for how cold it is in the wood shop today, I have the heated cabinet, and it has been on the entire time I've been in here. So you can see the heat lamp is doing everything it can to keep my glues from freezing. According to the thermometer, it is 25 degrees in the cabinet. So the cabinet is warmer than the rest of the wood shop, so I'm probably looking at about 19 or so degrees in the wood shop this morning. Bandsaw box. I'm now at the point where I need to decide what I want my bandsaw box to look like. I have really no plan going into this, so I'm just going to sketch something to use as an outline on the face, and it will then just sand off later. So this is what I'm basically going for. Again, this is going to change, so I'm just going to kind of go with it. The first step, I believe, though, is to cut this full shape out, and then I need to saw the back off. Okay, I have my rough shape cut out. I didn't go all the way to the line because now I'm going to go over to the sander, do a bunch of sanding, and just kind of guide it into more or less where the lines are. Then I believe I sliced the back off, and then I cut out my drawer. So, let's do it. Okay, I have the rough sanding done. The outside dimension is now more or less where it will be. The next time I'll have to address it is when I glue the back on, so I can clean up any messes or any like frozen glue, stuff like that. once that happens, I'll have to hit it with some wood filler anyway. So now I believe the next step is to saw the back off. So I'm going to set up my auxiliary table and my fence on the bandsaw, and we'll cut to that now. This Harbor Freight bandsaw didn't come with a fence of any kind. So I built a miter slot into my auxiliary table so that I can use the miter gauge from my table saw as a fence on the bandsaw. I just clamp it down on each end, and it actually has worked out very well. Okay, my back is sawn off. It's a little bit uneven, but so was the entire project, so I'm not really surprised by that. And it actually will help me index it a little bit easier when I have to glue it back on. So the next step, I believe, is to cut out the drawer. Now my drawer's cut out. I didn't get the perfect circle I wanted, but once I realized I wasn't going to be able to, I made it more of a distinct shape. That way the drawer will only slot into the box in one direction. So it might end up being better, I don't really know. Okay, the drawer and the drawer is all sanded. It slides in and out nice. I really don't like the point here, but what can you do? This is a first attempt, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself. I'll get it all nice and sanded and finished nicely, and maybe it will end up looking okay. Now would be a good time to reattach the back to the bandsaw box, I think. That way it can dry while I finish the drawer. So I'm going to just slather this piece in glue, and then I'll just throw some pins in it to hold it. I'll then put it in the heated cabinet with the glues and stuff so that it will dry a little bit faster. For now, I need to cut the back and the front off of the drawer so that I can then hollow it out and then glue it back together. My fence is back in place, and now I'm ready to cut the front and back off of my drawer. The drawer is round, so this is going to be a kind of difficult cut because it's going to want to bite and roll the moment I guide it into the saw blade. So I need to take this nice and slow and make sure I have a firm grip on the piece pretty much at all times. Now I just need to cut the inside out of the drawer. So I'm just going to make a deep U, and that should be good enough. Now it's just a matter of reassembling the drawer. And then I can start to do all the finishing, and I also have to make a pull for the drawer, because otherwise it's going to be hard to open. While it dries in the heated cabinet, I'm going to put together the drawer pull. It's going to just be a very simple piece made out of the scrap from the cherry. This bandsaw box is almost finished. I have sanded it up to 400 grit. I then cleaned it with some mineral spirits, and then I applied a single coat of boiled linseed oil, and then let that dry, and then wiped off the excess. I'm now going to coat it in one coat of paste finishing wax just to make sure that everything continues to move smoothly, and then this is finished. I have the pieces in the heated cabinet so that the wax can dry, and then I can buff it and it'll be all done. So now I'm gonna clean up. You don't have to watch that part. I will just cut to it all being finished now. The pieces have fully dried in the heated cabinet, so now it is time to buff the dried wax and to give these a nice shine. It's all done. I really like it, especially for my first attempt at this. I feel like I could take what I learned making this one and make one that is 10 times better, a lot more complicated, and maybe even having multiple drawers. But I'm very happy with the way this turned out. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to when I made this little mistake here. And I don't know, I think the mistake actually kind of adds a little bit to it. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with new projects as they are released. And until next time.